On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto our children. And we will not give 1 penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. I will keep men out of women's sports. And we will fully uphold our great and very important but under siege Second Amendment. And I did it for 4 years. We will protect innocent life and we will restore free speech and I will secure our elections. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will expel the warmongers from our government that is so poorly run. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. And we will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will drain the swamp. And we will liberate our country from these tyrants and villains once and for all. Like those patriots before us, we will not bend, we will not break, we will not yield, we will never give in, we will never give up, and we will never, ever, ever, ever back down.
Not about freedom or personal choice. We've been patient, but our patience is wearing thin. I don't care if you think I'm Satan reincarnated. What more do you need to see? Because guess what? A lot of people die. And a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
Mr. President?
You used the word smart. So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh, give me a break.
Because you know what? Yeah, there's nothing smart about you, Joe.
Damn!
He doesn't even know what it means. His incompetence is a threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy. He's letting fascists run our country. He's letting communists run our country.
Fines of billions of dollars every time they do an accounting. Oopsies, we lost it. Because these are money laundering operations, okay? And it is your money that they are laundering, right? They never want these wars to end. It is so obvious. There's just no way. Can we take a 5-minute break from dropping bombs? Can we get like 5 months of no drama?
Well, here's the thing. The reason we've gotten this far is because the powers that be, the elites, the oligarchy, whatever you want to call them, they have a carrot and a stick, right? And the stick is fear, whether it was COVID or banking runs or anything else. It's almost always fear. But the carrot is almost always convenience. Yeah. Look how convenient this is. And we have essentially, in my opinion, a lot of people have become slaves to convenience. People are willing to give up so much in the name of convenience and comfort. And it's getting to the point where we are being, led to give away our few remaining freedoms in exchange for more, what we're told is more convenience and greater security about the various things we're told to be afraid about. And, that's a very slippery slope, to paraphrase Benjamin Franklin. People that give up their freedom for security deserve and will have neither. And that's essentially what will happen unless people start taking a stand. And, again, a key part of that is understanding what the situation is and what the stakes are. And so I think that's why this type of information is really important for people to really understand, because if you don't understand how high the stakes are and the nature of the game, you won't be able to effectively respond to protect yourself and your family and your society and your community. And, we definitely need to uncondition ourselves from, this sort of mental, conditioning to want convenience all of the time and willing to give up this and that for convenience. There's a lot, I guess, I could say about that. on that particular issue. Because I mean, if you think about the smartphone, for example, you know, it was sold as look how convenient this is, and there is a lot that's convenient about it. But if you think about it, with the smartphone, no one does, for example, mental math anymore. You know, there's a calculator on the smartphone. Why would I do that? Right. And then you end up having you don't use it, you lose it, you end up atrophying it. Now you have people in school, instead of writing essays and learning how to write, are using ChatGPT to just generate it for them. You don't use it, you lose it, right? So, you know, we're on a very slippery slope of where convenience ends up totally destroying our society. And when you factor things like transhumanism into all of this, and, you know, talks about what's going on in healthcare right now, you know, wearable or implantable sensors and how convenient it is for people for this reason, and the brain-machine interfaces. Oh, look, now you can have your smartphone in your head. You don't have to worry about leaving your smartphone at home or your battery running out. You know, again, it's a slippery slope, and I think people need to really take serious stock of how easily people have been conditioned to be manipulated into making decisions they might not otherwise make under, you know, the guise of having increased convenience in your life, you know.
Obamacare is the reason COVID was able to exist, the reason they were able to lie and manipulate numbers, the reason that they were able to force people into getting treatments that they knew didn't work. It was an absolute disaster. And so what you got to understand is the result of all of this is that when you go to talk to your doctor, your health is probably 5th or 6th on the list of priorities in terms of what's going to happen to, or treatments that you're going to be told about. People think their doctors tell them what's going to work. Their doctor's not researching this. He doesn't even know. He just clicks it into the computer. The computer says you can do this or this or this, and he says, okay, we'll do that. And they're just checking boxes. They're not doing research. They're not doing their homework. There's a few that do.
Yeah.
But, you know, they're only reading the approved medical information that's coming to them through the doctors and the treatment boards that are running these big hospital systems now. So they don't actually see anything true.
So I think Big Pharma is also involved in this. Where,
oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think, doesn't Big Pharma actually pay for a lot of the medical schools and the courses and stuff like that? It feels like every single doctor just, you know, puts you on some type of drug. And then, you know, that drug has side effects and you need another drug to counter those side effects. And it feels like it's just one gigantic spiral that's going completely out of control.
Yeah, that's precisely what happens. So what's going on is pharma reimburses the healthcare systems, reimburses everybody. Mm-hmm. So we print trillions of dollars, we give it to Big Pharma, and then what Big Pharma does is it uses that money to manipulate the system. They buy the healthcare stuff at the universities because they fund all the doctors' research, they fund all the doctors this, all the professors at your university are funded by pharma. Then they sell their stuff through the hospitals, and they tell the hospitals, you know, you're going to use this, you're going to use that. You know, there's no money in ivermectin, so you're going to use remdesivir. And then through collusion between pharma and the insurance industry and the hospitals that is supported by government, because the government then throws billions and billions of dollars into our healthcare system. Essentially, they have one of the most complex and well-structured money laundering schemes in history. These guys pharma is at the core because they're the ultimate beneficiary of most of the money. But nobody likes saying this, but a lot of your hospital systems are not ran by doctors. The CEO is very frequently a businessman or an attorney or something like that. And the amount of money going to the bureaucracy in the hospital systems is mind-blowing. So you see this kind of collusion between hospitals and insurance and government, all supported by pharma funneling money from one spot to another.
I thank you. I love you. You came out on this cold, cold day to do your duty for the United States of America. Let's go and fight for freedom, and let's return to our build back for our children, the America that our parents fought and died for. Thank you very much.
There are some cities in which the police, if they're called out on a theft, if you call the police and say, somebody stole something out of my house, they'll go, okay, we'll fill out a report for you. You can take it to the insurance company. But no, we're not going to look into it. Founding fathers would say, you guys don't get what government is for. It's for protection. And protection means you have to deter crime by making it clear to people who commit crimes they're going to pay a penalty. So, figure out why, what's wrong, what happened, why do our priorities somehow go somewhere else? And if you ask police departments today or prosecuting, they'll say, well, we don't have a budget for it. Which means something has gone wrong at the level of the state legislature or at the level of city government, where money is being spent on something that is of lower priority than actual protection of the lives and properties of citizens. That's a problem from the point of view of the founders, but it is the way we do government today. One could sum up the founders' conception of law enforcement that was developed during the Revolution in two phrases: equal protection of the laws and due process of law. Equal protection meaning, in the founders' view, equal protection meant when there's going to be a general rule that applies to everybody. It will define what crimes are and it'll say what the penalties are going to be. And government's duty is to provide equal protection. So no matter how wealthy the perpetrator might be, what race he might be, or the sex of the person committing the crime, government has the same obligation to prosecute and punish in the same way anyone who commits the crime. That's fundamental.
Long before this sort of massive corporate involvement, it was an ideological movement. People like T.H. Huxley here in England were basic materialists, and that they wanted to spread the message about materialism because they wanted to destroy the power of religion and make scientists, as it were, the new priesthood. If you have a culture where you destroy the old priesthood and where science, reason and progress are your ideology, and every government is now being converted to it, economic progress through science and technology, every government in the world is a dominant paradigm, then who are the priests of this new culture? Obviously the scientists. And T.H. Huxley wanted the scientists to become a kind of priestly caste, professional scientists, who would then be the go-to people for governments. And in many countries there's a separation between church and state, but in no country is the separation between science and state. So I would say the power base of science is much more state than corporations. They've come along later.
What is their gospel?
Well, their gospel is we'll save the world through science and technology. We're the saviors of humanity.
Everybody together thing. And this is what we need. We need the guy in the movie that stands on top of the hill. The guy that says, we have more in similarity than we do that we disagree with.
Yeah, man.
We're together. We're friends. Most people, most of our issues we could work out amicably. We could talk. Most of our issues. The vast majority. And we need to not just dwell on those, but embrace those. Like, embrace all the things we like. We want safe schools for our kids. We want safe streets.
Yeah.
We want a fucking bridge maintenance so the bridges don't collapse. We want everybody to be okay.
Yeah, man.
We want no crime.
Yeah.
We don't want unjust prison. We don't want people being unjustly accused and then sentenced to life in jail and other people to work forever to get them. We don't want any of that. We don't want any prosecutors that hide evidence that shows that a person was innocent. That's real today in 2020.
Yeah.
They don't even get in trouble for it.
Yeah, man. It's right. It's true. And I think that maybe this is naive. I think we got to get over our addiction to the person on the hill.
We got to get over our addiction to the idea that the way we govern is the only way to govern.